Welcome to Fearless and Focused. I'm Brooke,
And I'm Casey,
and we're here to share bold stories, real talk,
and strategies to help you push past fear and level up.
Let's get fearless and focused. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Fearless and Focused. I'm your host, Brooke Brolo, with my co-host, Casey Cookert, and we have an amazing guest today, Cali Fournier-Arauz. And she is amazing. I can't wait. So June, we're doing all things fitness and nutrition. So that's why we're in our workout gear. But we're super excited to have you. I know Casey's going to give us a little intro and we'll get going.
Yes. Welcome, Kelly. So I'm going to usually I read a bio, right? But I feel like the story of how we met needs to be the opener. So I'll have you introduce yourself, but I want to just give a little moment of how we met. Brooke, you're going to die about this. So here we are. Remember how Bill did the whole bodybuilding competition right before police, right? So we went to Vegas and we did that whole thing. Okay, so he had this coach, his name's Wayne, and he had been prepping for this for 90 days. Like, we're doing all the things, but it's like our first ever setting like that. So here we are in Vegas, this huge hotel. We're like we're checking and stuff, but we're going to like check him actually into the fitness competition, which he has to do like this whole lie detector test and like all these things, like spray tanning, like all the things. Like, it's no joke. We're just both sitting there with like our eyes bigger than like, what have we got ourselves into, right? So anyways, so here we are going to check Bill officially in so he can compete. And it's huge. You know how the Vegas convention centers are. They're huge. We're just walking around like probably like two old people with deer in headlights. What are we supposed to do next? Where are we supposed to go? And all of a sudden, like out of the corner, and we know nobody. Like, this is our first deal. We know no one. Here we're trying to find our way. All of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, this cute cheerleading squad comes running up, like calling Bill's name. I'm like, what the heck is happening here? I didn't get the memo that there was going to be this cheerleading squad for Bill at the competition where we know no one. So come to find out, the head of the squad is Kelly, and she is the one that has like this amazing fitness program who Wayne coaches under Kelly, who is coaching Bill. So Wayne wasn't able to be at the competition, so he had asked Kelly, like, hey, like, my guy's there, can you go like welcome him and cheering him on? But I'm just like, and Bill's like, oh my God, he knows like, oh my God, what is happening? Casey is going to kill me. But he didn't know either. But he's just like, how do these girls know my name? And, Kelly has her whole squad. They all look like her, like they're super cute. They're all fit, they're toned, and it was just hilarious. So anyways, that's how I met Kelly. We right when she opened her mouth though, we hit it off, and she just started saying the stuff she was doing, and I started saying the stuff I was doing, and then before we know it, we're following each other on Instagram. And I don't think you know this, Kelly, but when I met you, I was like, okay, as soon as I get back from police and get all my stuff done, like, I'm gonna hire Kelly to be my coach. So that's when we finally connected, and Kelly's my coach now. But that is a short bio of how I met Kelly. So welcome to the show, Kelly.
Thanks for having me.
They're awesome. That's like the most like ultimate like hi. I can just see Bill's face right now too, because he's so like serious,
Yeah.
What's happening right now?
Oh yeah. And I mean, he was like, Casey's gonna kill me. I did not tell her that I'd have this cheerleading squad. She is gonna kill me.
Right?
Yeah, we're just like, we didn't know that came with the program, but it did the trick. So anyways, Callie, tell us a little bit officially about you, and just a little bit about your journey and stuff.
Yeah. So I am 27. I currently live in Omaha, Nebraska, but I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. I'm married. I met my husband in Montana when we were both stationed out there as active duty military. I started my business accidentally when I was in the military. And then I got the heck out of there because that was not for me at all. And as soon as I separated, I took my business full time, and now I've had it for 6 years, and it is my pride and joy. It's everything to me. Um, Now I mean, pretty decently sized team, lots of clients, my dream clients really. I We coach every type of walk of life, honestly. Guys, girls, lifestyle, athletes, pregnancy, postpartum, like all the things. And I have like a coach designated for kind of each of those niches. But yeah, recently, the last 2 years, we've shifted to mainly bodybuilders. That's just like my cup of tea because I am one. And I actually hold the world champion title and in natural bodybuilding. And I just started my season a month ago, and I'm currently on the road to go defend that title this year and hopefully get it again. So, so yeah, it's bodybuilding's a huge, huge part of my life. Yeah, it's really yeah, it's huge for me. So, and I played soccer my whole life, and then once I hung up the cleats, that's when I started lifting, and that's when I found bodybuilding. I'm just really competitive, and I just like I need hard things to work toward. Like that's just like in my nature to constantly like put myself in discomfort. So.
That's amazing. Wow. And you look like you're just so young and you've done all these things, right? And I was looking at your Instagram, which is goals, by the way. I mean, amazing. You're in like a hottie body. But and thank you for your service. You said that you're in the military. So what transitioned, like what made you decide like I'm gonna go into bodybuilding, I'm gonna go into nutrition and training and coaching? Was there something like a shift that you decided or is this just did someone mentor you or what'd that look like?
Yeah, in college, that's what I studied. I had my bachelor's in exercise science. I always knew I would do something in athletics. I really liked working with athletes. Well, I didn't know how I could do that. I was also like 19, you know what I'm saying? And I was doing the strength and conditioning internship at my college, and I was like in charge of these big football guys, and I'm just like this 5 foot little blonde girl that doesn't know what she's doing type thing. And that's when I was like, I don't know about athletes anymore. Like, I don't know about, but at least a team. And so then I went into personal training. I really like personal training because I was able to have a one-on-one connection with people, which is what I love the most. And so then I started training. And then all of a sudden, God put it on my heart to go serve in the military out of nowhere. And I was like, what? Like, I've never once wanted to join the military. No. And I ended up doing it because I really felt called to go. So I went, and it was a disaster in every way. But I met my husband, and I know that's exactly what God wanted me to do.
Yeah, that's why you were there. That's why you were there.
It was so short lived that I was like, that quite literally was the only reason I left. So I met Alan. We ended up getting out, like, there was an opportunity to get out, like, before our service was done. So I was out in a year and a half. It was great. So then we moved back to Omaha, or we moved to Omaha. And then I started, that's when my business, like, I was like, okay, I'm going to commit to this. Like, I think I can really take this where I want to take it. And then now it's like something I never ever thought was possible, to be honest. And I'm super, super grateful. And yeah, I just always knew I was gonna work in the fitness industry. I just didn't know what that would look like. And then I moved here, and I started dabbling into the idea of competing. I was like, and like I go to a bodybuilding gym, and they were like, "Have you ever thought about competing?" I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I could do that. Um, and then I was like, you know what? Oh, and then my husband deployed, and I was like really sad about it, obviously. And I was like, how about I put my attention and efforts into something that's gonna challenge me and make me better, and it's gonna, distract me a little bit from the reality. And so that's how I actually started. And then I won my first show, took the whole thing. And so I ended up doing 5 shows that year and won them all. And then I was like, oh, like maybe I'm kind of meant for this.
Yeah, no kidding. Maybe you're kind of like a natural at this. And then, so how did you, what's some, because, we're working together. Kelly and I have been working together for about a month now, which can I just say, she had me go get my labs. I got my labs back yesterday. I sent you a screenshot, Kelly. It's the best labs that I have had in my adult life.
That's
Like
amazing.
everything is good on my labs.
That's amazing.
And I know it's a huge testament because before I started working with you, Bill was working with Wayne. That's a coach under you. Which shout out to Kelly because she has like all these male coaches under her using her programs and her platforms and her nutrition. So, but what share a few tips like. Here's Brooke and I. We're surrounded by all of these like middle-aged ladies, and we're trying to take like our health seriously and dive into some things, but sometimes it's overwhelming because we're like building these empires on the side too. So, what are a few tips that you can share of just like starting somewhere and, to make health a priority?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that I see with women in particular, is under eating chronically. Like, I think it's
That's the first
engraved.
thing you told me.
Yep. It's engraved in our brains that, like, just eat less. Like, you'll lose weight if you eat less. No, not true at all. You're actually doing completely the opposite. And that's like one of my favorite things to teach women is like, hey, you can actually eat way more than you're eating, and you're going to lose weight by doing that. So I would say definitely eat more than you're eating, but the difference is quality food. Like, sure, you can eat a Pop Tart for the same amount of calories as a whole big meal of all whole foods. You know what I'm saying? Like, I eat 5 meals a day, and I'm in a super low calorie deficit right now, being in prep. And I still can eat that much, and you would be shocked at how much I eat every day. So I would say that's the biggest thing. And I think a lot of people are just unaware of what they're eating and how much they're eating. So audit yourself, like get a food tracker app and plug in your food and just see where you're at. And then from there, I'm obviously I'm a little biased, but hire a coach. I think there's so much value in having not only the guidance, but the accountability. That's huge. The support, someone to relate to, someone who can meet you halfway. Because I think that's another thing too that I see often is like you go from 0 to 100 and then you're really defeated when you miss one day and then you feel like, okay, let's just give up. I'll start next month on the first. What? Make that make sense. So yeah, I think starting slow, and compounding those habits. And I think a coach can really help build that with you.
Yeah. One thing you said, auditing yourself.
Yeah.
When you actually write down what you eat, like I've been told that before too about prior coaches, and I'm like, okay. And you're shocked at, or I was shocked at how much I would just go, like just walk by something, not even hungry, just grab it, just put it in my mouth, and was like, what? I forgot. I just grabbed those, that snack and those
Yeah.
mixed nuts, and then I like took a bite of my kid's sandwich that he didn't eat. Like all of these things that add up. And so like that's so important. So important. One of the things I think that, a lot of women struggle with that they're like, okay, yes, like I want to do, weights and this and that, but I don't want to look like a dude. So I think there's a lot of misconception around weight training. And I know that you can speak to that because you have a phenomenal body, right? And I'm sure you lift heavy. So kind of tell us about, what that looks like.
I think that is the funniest statement I ever hear. Like, that is comical to me because it's so backwards. I intentionally put myself in so much pain every day with my training, the way I train. And I would kill for bigger muscles. You know what I'm saying? It's not that easy. And if you're picking up 5, 10 pound dumbbells, girl, you're not gonna look like a man. I promise you that.
ain't gonna bulk on 5 pounds.
And here's the key too. I think people think like bulky and stuff like that. Sure, if you look at me in my off season, I may look a little bit thicker because I have muscle tissue and then I have fat around that, right? But if you are looking for a toned look and if you like, when your muscles show, you have to build the muscle first. So it's not like you can just diet down with your current physique and look the way that you're hoping to. No, you have to build the muscle, you have to accumulate a little bit of fat, and then you could go through a dieting phase where you lose that fat and those muscles do show. You're gonna like that look, I promise you that. So
Yeah, so that kind of really helps tone us up. Talk to us a little bit about creatine. Like, I feel like that's a buzzword for
Mhm.
women now. And I used to always think like creatine's for guys when they're like bulking up for a competition and stuff, but you have me drinking it. So talk to us about the importance of creatine.
Yeah. I think creatine is like the one supplement that I would recommend to literally anyone. I think a lot of girls like stay away from it because they think like you retain water off of it, which there is some research with that. But creatine in itself is the most researched supplement out there. And it is very beneficial with muscle building. So whether you are a male, a female, whatever your goal is, it still is relevant. And I do think it's something that anyone can take.
Yeah, which can actually kind of lead into, I mean, we might as well talk about this. Like, not only is Kelly a badass and she has this coaching program, but she has this whole supplement line also. So yeah, tell us a little bit about your supplement line because the creatine I take is part of that.
Yeah. So Wayne, one of our coaches on our team, it's actually his supplement line, but we adopted it into my company. But yeah, he's created everything for years and like really um strategically created these pure formulas because there's so many couple supplement companies out there and that maybe will be cheaper than fueled, but the quality of what you're putting in your body, especially on a daily basis, because these things you're taking every single day. And a lot of these other companies that have like better flavors or really yummy, whatever, they have tons of fillers in them and you're not even getting the actual product. You're getting all these extra stuff. So it's really important when you are picking out supplements to make sure that you're looking at the ingredients, making sure you're knowing what to look for and getting good quality products.
What does creatine actually do? Like what it
And
actually?
yeah, in muscle building and performance.
Gotcha. Is it like aid with like recovery or energy or what?
No, just mainly muscle building and performance in general. A little bit of endurance too, but I would say, as far as like energy, hydration, electrolytes, that kind of stuff, that's more like BCAAs. Like we could go through a whole line of like kind of what you could take for different reasons, but I would say if you're weight training, if you want a toned look, if you want to build muscle, then creatine is definitely
Okay.
something I would advise.
Then I have the $1,000,000 question for you. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. But I have, like I said, I was stalking your Instagram this morning. I was like, okay, who's our guest? And Millie stalk her Instagram. And I'm like, okay, glute goals, girl, honey, glute goals.
Oh, thank you.
My ass from here to here. And for those who are not watching, I'm saying from like down to up because I am in my late 40s and things are like gravity. I'm like, oh no. So what I used to do is not helping. So I used, squats, things and like, oh, I gotta step it up. So like, what are some like good, like just everyday key things that, the average person could do to kind of, help get some of that ass back?
Yeah. So the $1,000,000 answer is get in the gym and lift heavy.
Lift heavy.
Yes.
Heavy. What is heavy?
Body weight squats ain't gonna cut it. Kickbacks on the floor with no weight ain't gonna cut it. Like if you want to grow a booty, which you can, just like any other muscle, like mine is completely it's a muscle booty. Okay. And it's taken me years to grow that, but uh heavy lifting, heavy lifting. A lot of hip thrusts, a lot of weight, kickbacks on a cable machine with weight. Squats, different variations of squats, sumos, deadlifting, uh,
Right.
yes, with weight.
So if I'm just starting out, okay, what
Good
do you
question,
I put
Brett.
my hand without being dead or not able to walk the next day? Probably not gonna be able to walk anyway, but what's a good like starting weight?
Yeah, that's such a loaded question. I mean, it depends on like which movement are we talking about?
Yeah, maybe just a squat, like a sumo squat or regular squat with a,
Yeah. If you've never squatted before, I would start with a goblet squat. So you'll hold a dumbbell like this, well, the main part of the dumbbell, I guess. And you'll squat like that. I would start with like 20 to 25 pounds, maybe. Um, Once you start getting comfortable with movements, that's when you can start using different machines. but I wouldn't like put you under a barbell if you've never squat, So I think there's a lot of like progression with things. And I do think that's where a coach comes in, because it's like I don't ever want somebody to get injured or go try to, listen to this advice and then kill themselves up in a freaking squat machine. So I think like having some type of guidance in that area is helpful. And a coach would be able to get, progress you to but I do think like getting in the gym is the answer in terms of growing any type of muscle group that you want.
That's so important because, like, this is the first thing when I talk to Kelly about, like, training with her, it's like, "Okay, I love my lifestyle. I don't want to cheat. I don't wanna give up anything. So, where I have to start is where this can be plugged in because I don't wanna give up anything as far as, like, time commitment." So, it's like, please don't ask me to get into the gym 5 days a week because I'm just not gonna do that, and I'm gonna quit because that's gonna overwhelm me because I don't like failing at stuff. So, that's what I kind of have loved where it's like she's kinda met me where I'm at, where it's like, "Okay, all right, fine, Casey, can you do 3 times a week, 20 minutes?" "Yes, I can do that." So that's where we've started, and then I'm sure you'll progressively start killing me from there. But you just like, I've grown into that and fit that in, and then that's part of my lifestyle.
Yeah.
Share a few, like, we're kinda talking about, like, lifting and gym and fitness. What about, like, the nutrition side? Like, what's some ways that women that are wanting to, like, improve their physique and they're busy and they're going all day, what's some nutrition tips that we can adapt?
Prepare. Because if you are never like putting any effort into preparing things, then you're always say failed to prepare is preparing to fail. Period. So if you're not gonna bring things, if you're not gonna try to prepare yourself, then you're like setting yourself up for failure. So I would say like I'm a very busy woman too. Like we're all, we're business women, like we wear a lot of hats, we're busy. And the only way I'm able to do what I do is because I am very intentional with preparing those things so that I can simply run inside after this meeting before my next, get my containers out of the fridge, pour some on a plate, measure it out, put it in the microwave, eat it real quick, and then I'm done. I don't even have to cook anything because I already have everything in containers for the week. And I really think, like, I think people make it harder than it needs to be. Like, I quite literally cook a bunch of beef, put it in a container, cook a bunch of chicken, put it in the container, rice, potatoes, and then I buy frozen vegetables and frozen fruit, and then I measure that out each meal. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't have to be hard. I think it's just like having a game plan, again, a coach, and then also just taking the time to set yourself up for success, even if it takes an hour out of your Sunday, whatever. That's better than like setting yourself up for failure the rest of the week, and not hitting the goals that you want. So I would say preparing. I also think with women, you I hear a lot of people fast for a long time, which there's so much research out there that women should not be doing that. Second of all, waiting so long in between these meals, your body is so hungry, then that's why you're snacking. That's why you're like binging at night because you didn't properly fuel yourself throughout the day. I eat my last meal at 5:30 and I'm totally fine the rest of the day because I did balanced meals throughout the whole day and now I'm satisfied. So I think, and like with women too, we have these huge crashes uh because of our blood sugar levels. And if you're if you're just eating like fats and carbs, which are mainly all the snacks you're probably reaching for, then you're gonna have those crashes. But if you were to prioritize, all three macros, and maybe even some micronutrients in there too, in each meal, then you're gonna stay satiated for longer and you're not gonna feel this urge to like eat everything in sight.
Yeah. I think you nailed it. I mean, because if you don't prepare, I've been that person. Like, I will try to always have some type of protein bar or something in my purse because I am so busy and I'm running around. And if I don't have something and I just get to that starving moment, everything will go out the window. And I'm like, oh, did you say McDonald's? There's Chick fil A.
Right.
Like, I'm
Right.
cruising through and just starving, right? And having a coach. Like some of the things that you said, these tips are so, I should have been writing them down. I'll have to rewatch this. But I mean, they're so easy. You're like, I cook a bunch of meat. I cook a bunch of chicken, rice, potatoes. Like these are not difficult things. You just need to prepare ahead of time. I love it. This is so helpful. Thank you. Thank you, Callie. Okay, so we did do the rapid fire earlier, so I'm going to get to it now. Are you ready, Callie?
Yeah.
Got rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
Okay, these are easy. Okay, are you a coffee or are you a tea girl?
Neither.
Oh, so what is it? Okay. Is that an Alani?
Yeah. Energy drinks. I don't drink them every day, but I don't like coffee and I don't like tea.
Okay.
Yep.
What is your favorite workout genre?
Like what body part?
No, like what kind of music? Like music.
Oh. So I'm actually a freak and I don't listen to music.
What?
Wow, we're getting all the opposite answers than normal.
Awesome.
People think I'm
In your head, like, yeah, girl, do it.
So I train with my coach every day in person, like he trains me. And so I don't wear headphones because I'm like talking to him. And he's like yelling at me while I'm training.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Oh, early bird all the way.
I could tell that. Yeah. Let's see. What's your favorite exercise? Do you have a favorite exercise?
I would say like a press.
A what?
The leg press.
Okay, leg press. Awesome. Okay, and if you weren't in the fitness industry, what would you be doing?
It's crazy because I literally don't have a plan B.
What would I do?
What would I do?
You're just made for this. You're like,
I can't picture myself doing anything else. I would say possibly doing something with art.
oh,
Yeah. My parents were like highly disappointed when I didn't go the art route. Back to that, probably.
Awesome. Great. Okay, so one of our last questions that we ask all of our guests is, what does fearless mean to you?
Ooh. I think taking risks.
Like getting on a stage in a bikini?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty fearless. Yeah. Yeah, taking risks, doing the hard things, even when you don't know what the outcome will be. And at the end of the day, just believing in yourself and knowing your capabilities.
I love it. Well, you are definitely an inspiration, and I can't wait to follow your journey. And I know you just started a podcast too. So amazing. So that kind of leads me into, where can people find you? Tell us where they can find you. Tell us about the podcast too.
Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram. That's my main thing. Cali Fournier. Looks like California. CaliFournier. You can find me there. And then I just started a podcast with one of my high school teachers. She's 58. She's 30 years older than me.
Well,
And she's one of my best friends. And we are the same. And so we are trying to break that gap in generations and just talk wisdom and life and all the things. So we don't have a podcast or Instagram for that yet, but that'll be coming. We haven't launched the actual first episode yet, but it's coming.
Well, good for you. That's amazing. Thank you so much for being here today, Callie. It's awesome to get to know you.
Thanks for having me.
yes. Thank you, Callie.
Thanks for tuning in to Fearless and Focused. Remember, success is not about being perfect. It's about showing up, staying bold, and taking action.
If you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could use a little inspiration.
Keep chasing your dreams, staying fearless, and keeping your focus strong.
Until the next time, stay
Fearless and focused.